Hi, hope you're doing great and having a wonderful day. I was just reading about the Church of England and a particular bishop. His name was Peter Doyle. Peter, went through training, and he was given a certain region that he was supposed to go into and take care of the people that live there, help them with their religious beliefs, and also help get some students in so that they could go through ordination and enter the priesthood. So Peter Doyle goes out to his area, and in his home, very modest, he sets a place for training for young boys in the area. Now, the devil will test you. The devil always tests you, and it wants to see the strength of your beliefs. It wants to see the strength of people around you and see if it can get you from what you're supposed to be doing to doing something else. So Peter got these boys. They would live in his house, and he would train them in the oath of silence so they didn't speak. He had this kind of sloppy food, looked like mush, that he would feed the boys. And then, as it turned out, the one boy complained because Peter was asking him to do some very, very unusual things. He was asking the boys to get naked, and the priest would get naked also, and they might sit naked. He would have them hug him naked, and the priest said, but their genitals never touched. It was alleged that he also masturbated with the boys and other things. Now, the boys were about age 17 or a little younger. They were country boys, and this was at a time when, of course, we didn't have the internet and other things, and the boys were very, very deep into religion because they wanted to go into a religious career, and so they believed as best they could in what the priest was doing. Now, a lot of boys left. A lot of boys would stay a year, and then they would just wander off. They never complained, or if they did, it never came to light. But one boy said enough was enough, and he complained. Well, he found out that if he didn't cooperate with Peter, that he would not be moved on to be eligible for ordination. So it was either cooperate or get out of the priesthood. Well, this was what the boys really wanted, so a lot of them would just go on and cooperate, and some of them would not. They would say, well, this priesthood is not for them. It's of note that Diana died in 1997, and this case against Peter Doyle came out in 1992. So there was an overlap where Peter Doyle was active in the priesthood, the Church of England as a bishop, and he was close to a lot of famous people. He had this little region he took care of, and he trained the boys, but he would go and mingle in much bigger circles. He knew the Queen, he knew King Charles, and he felt close to them. He felt they were his close friends. Well, we already know the Queen had a close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. So she was already surrounded by pedophiles, plus Andrew was already a pedophile. Their predilection was girls, as far as we know. We don't know of any boys, but certainly boys could have been in the Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Andrew circle also, but we just don't know what their limitations were. So Diane died in 1997. Now, this made her children pretty much unguarded. The only people that were around Harry and William were these men in gray suits, which they didn't trust, and which Harry never felt close to, and who knows who else. I'm certain the bishop came around frequently trying to help them with their religious studies, and so they were probably also influenced in part by the bishop, who was, as alleged, a pedophile. And his predilection was boys. He liked young boys. So he would have liked boys at the age of William, and he would have liked boys at the age of Harry. Now, I don't know how old Peter Doyle was when he was mingling with King Charles, and I don't know if he had any influence on sexual abnormalities with King Charles. But King Charles certainly had a great heightened sexuality, as can be shown by his frequent, regular rendezvous with Camilla. But we don't know exactly how far he was with the Church of England as far as abnormal sexual behavior. And the abnormal sexual behavior was even reported to the Archbishop before 1992. And the Archbishop would never act on it. He would stand up behind the bishops and say that they were not doing anything wrong, they were great people, they were helping everybody, and that the boys must be lying. So they never did an inquiry, they never moved the priest out of the area, they never supported the people in the countryside, and things just went on for years. So how much of an effect did this have on the country people? We don't know. How much of an effect did this have on people who trusted the Archbishop and who trusted the Church of England in the 1990s, 1980s, and who knows when this started? This probably started decades before it came out in 1992. So there's a chance that William and Harry were assaulted by bishops and other clergy affiliated with the Church of England. And because their mother had died, they would have had no real protection. The people in the gray suits were employee administrators, and they are not parents. So I don't expect William and Harry to have to answer these questions, which would be highly embarrassing for them. But I am sure that both William and Harry were probably subjected to pedophiles in the priesthood under the Church of England, under the form of the Archbishop and the other bishops and other church higher-ups. Now, this is just my speculation, but I think based on what I was reading in other internet histories, that there's a high likelihood that both William and Harry were subjected to pedophiles for years. But would they have gone for Harry and William since they were near the top of the near the throne? They probably would, because the boys never saw their father. He was always out having sex and rendezvous with Camilla. So the chance that they were going to see him and start complaining about bishops and the Archbishop and so forth were very, very low. So it's a thought. And when we see some of the behavior that they exhibit, you have to keep in mind lots of things happened to these two young men when they were little that they cannot reveal. It would not be in Harry's book, The Spare, but somewhere he might have secrets that are much bigger than he has exposed to date. But we'll have to wait and see. Just a thought. These are all allegations and thoughts. Nothing hardcore except that this guy Peter Doyle, who was a bishop in the Church of England, was found to be a pedophile, and the Archbishop at the time knew it. So we'll have to wait and think about this some more. Okay, take care. Love you all. Bye.